May 15th. I'm just watching the Channel 2, the local news. And today in Manhattan, within the New York City limits, they're doing this AIDS walk. Now, I mean, again, I'm watching symbology on this. ViiV being the 6 to the 4 in Roman numerals with a high bridge between the two vortex, or the two symbols of 5 for the 505. There's two small eyes with dots, dot dot, in between these two 5s, and then there's like this attempt for Sky Dome to keep them connected, and whatever that means, and I can figure it out if I wrote it down long enough and needed to. But that name of that healthcare system, they put on somebody earlier. She was in charge of something called a U.S. Communications. She looked relatable, perhaps. But then I'm looking, and they fund this GH something something, and then later on, out of nowhere arrives the character that plays the genie, which is now for me spelled GE and then NIE, which becomes a problem. But he comes in as a spokesperson, and I'm just like, now that's weird, because it is part of this AIDS walk, but it's AIDS, not ADES, although even those lines feel very, very blurred when I hear, and the way that their confusing words are like muddled and fuddled together. So this is what the sequence of events looks like. I'm trying to think, because it's gone over several whatever. I'm gonna put up what they're referring to as the genie from a Broadway play called Aladdin. So.
Commute, so we're concerned about that. But after that, we are going to see much.
And for today, AIDS Walk New York is on a 78. And there's FOG going on.
Much better.
What do you need,
much
Lubbock?
better weather for your Tuesday and Wednesday. So speaking of the moon and the earth and stars, I have a Broadway star, Michael James Scott.
Yes! What's going on?
You're the genie in a little show called Aladdin.
A nice, small, little, subtle show called Aladdin. Yes, I am the genie. It is such an honor to be here.
6 years you've been.
Now it's interesting, the word patterns that he uses on a day-to-day basis. I don't know who assigned them to him. I don't know who allows such things in a city that never sleeps. It becomes a real problem. My Michaels, because I have a couple of them throughout my life frame that they've asked to be called such things, such sounds with such labels, look nothing like that. For Mick.
You're doing it, right?
Yes. I've been doing it for 6 years, which is just an incredibly amazing gift to get.
You got a
to play.
show today.
I do. I have a 1 o'clock matinee today, but we're here.
You had a show last night.
I did.
You
It's
didn't get any
probably
sleep last night. So why is it important for you to get up early and be here today?
Oh gosh, well, first of all, it is just an honor to get to be here and support this whole initiative. It's my first AIDS walk to be a part of, and I've obviously always supported for many, many years. But to bring awareness, to keep pushing forward for, you know, a cure. I mean, we're it's like we're getting close, right? But to be able to be a part of it, to me, is just so important, and bringing awareness.
Yeah, because I think it gets lost on people that, you know, it's not done.
Well, that's exactly right. It is.
And here's where initiatives get confused. It's not AIDS either. It's got an HIV, which is a fourth dimensional Roman numeral. It's got a sponsor, which is a 6 to 4 in Roman numeral. And then it's got Latin letters of AIDS, WALK.
You know, there's a generation that I feel like we've maybe taken for granted work before all of the amazing generations before us, and I think that it's so important that we now still are in this fight and still marching, still walking, still, you know, like shouting loud that we need cures, we still need money, we still need all the resources to be able to make this move forward as it has been for so many years. So I think it's, you know, I'm a part of that generation that I feel like we need to now step up and be a part of.
Now, I don't want you to shout too loud, because you got to do that show this afternoon. I got to ask you, how great is it to be back on Broadway?
Oh my gosh, it's a dream to be back. I've said this before, but it feels like a piece of my soul is back.
Yeah.
The energy is electric. We talked a little bit about
I know, you notice after the...
Now, because he's got this Broadway platform, it's like he's the celebrity, I suppose, or the star, like the meteorologist said, of this. Like, he's already at a heightened social atmosphere than the rest of us.
After the pandemic, events like this, shows like yours, people are so happy to be back.
Oh my gosh, people are just hungry for entertainment. They're hungry for love and light and laughter and joy. And to be able to be a part of a show that does that every night, you know, there's nothing better. There's just a beautiful gift. So I think that energy is what's resonating around our city. And it's New York City. So you know what I mean? We are resilient.
One of this platform of cities that never sleep, just for sleepy towns elsewhere, even though the word sleepy at times and cognitively dissonant get confused at Valerian root and like some other Fifth Element stuff.
We don't party when we can.
It's flying carpets. And Cindy, real quickly, I want to show you. If you don't mind, can I show your shoes?
Oh.
These also were not thousands of dollars. So Cindy, and thank you so much for your time. God bless. Have a great walk and a great show. Cindy, back to you.
Those are snazzy. Thank you so much, John. All right, time now to see what's coming up this morning on Face the Nation.
Now, I don't know, because the weather, it's going...
Or this afternoon, expand the view and you see
It has
really
an
better chance for rain coming
ISO
in on
reference
Monday.
with
Monday's
an
gonna be an
apostrophe
issue where we
D.
see
It
the
just doesn't sit
possibility
right with my
of some
visual
isolated
cortex.
Severe storms. That would be Monday afternoon and Monday.
Because it goes from 78. It says brighter afternoon, spotty chance, wind south 5-10. So fünf and then for MPH.
Night. Your day today, 78. Brighter this afternoon.
And again, I don't know, is that Diton?
Spotty shower can't be ruled out. I think overall it's a better, brighter day than it was yesterday. However, it's going to be humid.
And then here's the 63, the broken, because it's not an 8. It says leftover ISO apostrophe D shower, eclipse, ... cloudy breaks. At like universal prowess.
Humid, AC's on, 63 tonight, isolated shower. I know we've got that eclipse. We'll take a closer look at that. Unfortunately, we're going to be dealing with more clouds. And then tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be an interesting day. It's definitely going to feel more like a summer day. Wind will be an issue, and there is the possibility of an isolated thunderstorm as well, 79. But then after tomorrow, we're going to see really nice weather for your Tuesday and Wednesday. And why so many years of dedicated volunteering?
Because I'm actually lucky. I'm an advocate, and I help people get insurance, Social Security, Medicare. I've been involved with HIV and AIDS for these 20 plus years, and this is how we raise money to help others do the work that I do and help me to do the work I do, so that people are informed and able to survive in a world where they are losing control.
Now, what's interesting is I don't even know what this word advocate means. It's one of those socially engineered words. There's some social convention in it. It might have had a time, place, and space when, like, camel toes and theories of everything were running amok, making a whole disaster story for the kids of the future in, like, baby boomers and bloomers and doomers. But here we show up, and it's like now I gotta like look at all this, go, wait, what did you all used to call it? Because I don't even get that information. Like, I get that's your delusion of reality, but in the real world, anything born or built 1978, we don't even have cognitive vocabulary or a working vocabulary that anything this woman did, which was so socially important and graced, like, how does one find these words to become or even chase as career possibility? And then as he's interviewing her, it turns out that she actually gets paid for this advocacy job. Really? Well, how do you build and construct yourself a career around advocacy of some sort? Like, I don't even know, because they don't talk about it in public school. It's part of the DOE problem.
You know, it's funny because we talk about big numbers. This is
But what I noticed is somebody put a paper crown on this woman because she must be the crown jewel or importance in whatever this GMHC does, which is very important, admirable, noble work. What happens is, and she gets paid for it. The kids, like my age, or at least myself, in the whatever I was routed into for time frame, had no exposure to even know what they built themselves as far as a vocabulary or vernacular in order to even pursue these admirable career paths, if that's what they're calling themselves.
is the biggest fundraiser
For sustainability and longevity.
But it's really those individual stories that it's all about, right?
And that's what makes this morning such fun, because I look forward to this year, because when people are coming in, they're coming in with their stories. They're coming in with excitement to see other friends. It's not only individuals, it's also companies pool together, and teams are built up there. So this is a very social, exciting moment, and it reinforces me and everybody who does this work for the next year.
Which is wonderful, but how does one gain entry to a company that takes part, or to, like, I mean, there's been no guidance with how does one find where, I mean, like, there's got to be someone somewhere in Humanville that's in charge of this stuff. I just haven't found their title yet.
I got to 28 years.
And how they disconnected my generation or my part of the generation to be able to do service work like this, which then builds good favor in other things, supposedly. I don't know if that's going to stick around based on how they've botched it up and rerouted like good deed points and credited all of the wrong efforts.
voluntary.
No, excuse me, let's be straight. A few things, that's an interesting comment, but nonetheless, let me let you know, I am actually paid. And that's another reason. I am actually an employee, but I'm now a retired employee who works part-time because this has been a great way not to be isolated during COVID.
Good.
And my clients are on the phone with me, on the emails with me. I'm meeting them on street corners as long as they're comfortable being outside to answer their questions.
Well, we appreciate you answering our questions this morning, and I like it. Crown looks good.
Thank you.
We'll crown it off and send things back to Cindy in the studio.
All right, John, thank you. Turning to sports now, the Yankees 5.
Now, I thought this so interesting this morning. I'm like, what an odd piece of news. There's some performer or entertainer, well, I guess it's performer. He's in the Chernobyl, I guess they call it plant. I thought it was like a nuclear power plant, but I don't, again, he's dressed in some getup and he's playing an acoustic guitar and he's singing in some language that I don't speak. But I'm like, they're sending a very real pageantry message across a horizon, throwing it out into space. And I thought it was really interesting, noteworthy.
Workers at the Chernobyl nuclear power station got a surprise visit from a popular Ukrainian performer. The lead singer of the band OK and LZ staged a solo performance for workers on Friday. He sat in protective white clothes in front of a huge bank of controls inside the facility. In February, invading Russian forces captured it, but it was later retaken by Ukraine. It is 7:37.
It's one way to symbolically show you're singing in front of all of the controls that have no faces or names. They're buttons that get pushed, and the professionals seem to know, but as a human in the world of nothingness is just one, it's hard to get in front of the buttons that control things. So I thought that was a really nice choice of notable mention. Now here's the communication with the U.S. The communicator that showed up just at this AIDS walk, and she's communicating her way.
And unlike the last few days, this is an organized front. So that difference and that energy coming in, that stirs up the skies. So we do anticipate more coverage of rain. And with the higher numbers, we could see some isolated severe storms as well. So that's going to be Monday. And then the payoff after that is going to be Tuesday. A new friend, Audrey Abernathy. Did I get it right?
You absolutely did.
With ViiV Healthcare.
Yes, ViiV Healthcare.
And I mean, obviously, you're.
And the symbols for that are that dome between the two. I mean, for me, it's vortex with the V at the moment. I have no need for a number, but if this is if it's both fives with two eyes in the center,
So you're one of the
it can
primary
build a whole
sponsors. You're one of the driving
construct just
forces
within
behind
that symbolic
AIDS Walk New
gesture.
York, because the reality is this is a money raiser and we need corporate dollars. But you were just telling me about ViiV. ViiV is unique in the pharmaceutical world. Tell us about that.
We are, and thank you. We are the only healthcare company solely focused on HIV. So that means everyone that works at our company is focused on helping people living with HIV every single day. We look to bring innovations to market, whether that's prevention, treatment, or really importantly, like you see here today, focusing on supporting the community. We look at doing cultural interventions. We support great organizations like GMHC to make sure that they can do what they need to do, which is support the people in the city, support them.
If you look, it says here, Vice Pres, U.S. Communications, and then ViiV Healthcare.
every day through housing, harm reduction services, fighting stigma, all the great work they do. It's just been a privilege to be such a long-standing partner with GMHC.
Do you think that the continued fight sometimes gets lost on the general public, that people kind of put it out of mind, and that we need to remind them?
Every day, that's what, honestly, myself and my team, that's what we focus on, to understand that there is still an epidemic in the U.S. And while there's national goals set by the federal government to end the epidemic by a certain time point, we need to do a lot of additional work to make sure everyone gets the benefit from that. And the focus is on ending the epidemic for everyone, not just certain populations. That's what my organization does, and that's what organizations like GMHC does, is support everyone to get to that final.
And there is somewhere the Pythie General. And then there's the one that she calls herself New York Attorney General. No idea how she got that title. But she's wearing a broken logo. One, she's not a number 7 at all. Couldn't possibly be. And she is in a 3, which means it's broken. And that goes back to mein Fuja for her, whatever she woke up in.
That final goal of ending the epidemic.
Yeah, and I mean, again, and it's bottom line, real dollar stuff, so thank you for being a sponsor. And how happy are you to be back here live with other people?
It's so great to finally be back in person. I mean, we obviously know the pandemic is still going on, but it's great to see all the people coming out to support today and to just be in person again. The energy's so special, and I can't wait to get the walk started.
It really is. Well, Audrey, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great walk, and great. I love hearing all these stories. Cindy, I know you'd love to be here, and there's still time. Right now, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Actually, CBS, we've had teams in the past, so I know how wonderful this walk is. So it is really nice to see it back in person. John, thank you. In sports, the Yankees 5.
It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. I don't know, it feels like there's some kind of like weird solar system, like Monopoly game thing that's going on between here and the great beyond and outside of my cognition at the moment. Trying to grab pieces when people aren't looking or people don't know from not whatever, but it's a problem. And it's a growing, concerning problem on so many fronts. But that's a mein Futsal for an 8-3 perspective. I'm a whole, but I'm a broken whole with a WHOLE being the 8 and the brokenness showing up as a 3. Although I sheltered into this world opposites that attract between Alexander, his Lexi, and mine, because we both have a 3, which put the 8 back together again in time and space in like a deep program way. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.